want to talk about toilets. Toilets, yeah. It's very interesting. Something felt very interesting. I was watching a documentary on Amazon Prime about the history of the toilet. And they went all the way back to, ancient times, the Romans, the development of the flush toilet, Thomas Crapper, and all that stuff. But they spent a lot of time on today because there are still billions of people in the world who don't have access to toilets. And toilets, because it improves sanitation, has saved probably billions of people over the years from less likely to get diseases. And they focused on Bangladesh, which apparently is one of the worst places for sanitation. I mean, people literally walk around and, shit wherever they need to go. And of course, that means other people come along and walk on it and drag it into their house, or it gets into the water. Or it's just a terrible situation. So they're trying to install these cheap, easy to manufacture toilets that just rely on concrete and buckets. I mean, no fancy plumbing. And these are public toilets, to get people to go in them rather than just to crap all over their village. And I thought that was, was interesting that, more than 2,000 years since the Romans had latrines, these people still haven't figured that out. But that's another topic and another question. But one of the things they just mentioned along the way was how important this is, how important these toilets are. For example, there was a school out in the countryside somewhere where they installed toilets. And more people would come, and the students would use the toilets. But they found that more male students were coming, and that the girl students weren't going to the school. So they did some surveys and things, and they discovered that the girl students didn't like sharing the toilets with the boys. So they increased attendance at the school by the girls, school-age girls, by somewhere between 20 and 30%. I forget exactly what the exact number was, but it was fairly substantial. And the rates were even higher among girls who had reached puberty and were menstruating, because they did not like to share the toilets with the boys. And one could imagine that public toilets in Bangladesh probably are even at least a little worse than public toilets in the United States, which at times can be pretty bad. And I mean, I've dated women and been married to women who don't even want to use public toilets, and will, delay as long as they can to avoid using one. So I'm listening to this, and how they have all these experts and scientists, and about the wonders of this advance they had in Bangladesh to get more women into school by the simple method of having separate male and female bathrooms. And that this was a great moment of progress, because this will lead to more women going to school, more willing to use public restrooms if they didn't have to share them with the guys. And I thought to myself, well, wait a minute. This is a great progressive, earth-shaking development in Bangladesh. And yet here, at the same time, we're telling students, male and female, that they should be using the same bathroom, that we shouldn't have unisex bathrooms, all because of, things driven by transsexuals and, people who identify themselves as other sex. So to accommodate them, basically, we're doing in this country what in this documentary I watched was labeled as backward, not progressive. So basically, we're doing in this country exactly what they used to do that we're trying to get them to not do. So we're telling the people in Bangladesh, you got to have unisex bathrooms, while here we're deciding that we don't need them. And it just struck me as kind of odd that we do these things overseas that we don't even, we used to do, and now we're telling us we don't need to do them anymore. And I don't know, I guess I'm just easily confused. But, what can I say? But there you have it. Something that is portrayed here as a progressive advance that's good for not only the health of people in Bangladesh, but the education of women in Bangladesh is being rejected here, also claiming to be progressive. And this doesn't make any sense. Maybe it just doesn't make any sense to me, but you can make up your own mind.